Hi guys, how you doing? Senior Gaming here, and in today's episode I'm bringing you Marriage Girls and I'll be talking tier 5 gear sets. So if you're Marriage Girls player or perhaps idle gamer, then make sure you subscribe to the channel as I post as often as possible and bring you best tips and advice. And if you enjoy what you see, then hit that like button as well. Okay then guys, so we have had tier 4 video a few weeks back. If you haven't seen it, I definitely encourage you to do so, but today it's time for tier 5. And as per previous video, what I want to do today is discuss obviously every single class, meaning tank, DPS and healer/support. So without further ado, I'm gonna head over to World, Boss Stage, and I believe Ovistan. Yeah, Ovistan will give me all the 6 sets I will be able to discuss today. Right, and I'm gonna start with a first tank set, and this is a Warriors trial set. Actually, when it comes to differences between one and another, I think they are very close together, so therefore you might consider which one is gonna be better for you. So as you see, this great element of receiving more heal of 45%, as well as ticking over and replenishing some HP every 2 seconds. Yet again, this set won't be necessarily the best when it comes to pushing stages, when it comes to this main boss, which is at the end of each chapter. I think on the normal stages, this set will prove himself very useful, but that's why I pretty much operate still on a Royal Guard set. And the reason for it is obviously the bonuses itself. There we had a extra healing and extra ticking over. But what it means, we need to obviously get to the stage where our healers will kick off with the skill, whilst in here we still operate on a pure defense and damage reduction. Which means when you then end up with this a high profile boss at the end of the chapter and he's using additional skills, this is where you got more chance of obviously surviving, and therefore your damage dealer is doing all the job to pass the stage. So when it comes to a particular items, you obviously want to prioritize armor itself, as armor will provide additional HP. You want to go ahead and upgrade boots, as this is additional defense. And finally, when it comes to necklace, you obviously want to go with a damage reduction. If you cannot land damage reduction, then alternative for it is gonna be MP recovery. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to a DPS set, and let's kick off with a first one. So a Sand of a Death set is pretty much something that you might build up to start with, but this is not a end game tier 5 set. The reason I'm talking still about this set, as when you start unlocking tier 5, this is gonna be pretty much the first set available. You won't have a second one, which I'm gonna talk in just a second. Therefore, I believe even talking about this very first bonus of having additional 60% attack, this is still very handy when you just pretty much transferring from T4 to tier 5. But then when we finally talk about a proper gear for your DPS, you want to go with a Silent Star set, and that's gonna be pretty much every single DPS apart Krona and Maylin, as this will pretty much fall into criteria similar to support classes, and I tell you why in just a second. But any pretty much a ranger class, etc. or attacker, apart the 2 I have just mentioned, you want to go for a Silent Star. As you see, obviously we got here pretty much a 75% additional damage, as your HP needs to be 60% of higher, so especially when you farming, etc., you're gonna have that bonus applied at all times. When it comes to singular items, obviously you want to prioritize hat, as this gives additional attack as well as necklace, and you want to go in here now with the 2 different options. You can either go for a critical rate. Some classes will have a low critical rate with, even though when you get to tier 5 and later stages, or you can go for a critical damage, or if you cannot land these 2 to start off, go with additional damage necklace. But the thing is as well, when you start getting better potential rolls, at some point you will be able to obviously get a critical rate. But I'm saying when you're just starting out, I'm still using pretty much on majority of my character's critical rate. I think this is where I'm going now with Priscilla, where I might be going critical damage, as she's got a great boost to critical anyway, so therefore this is where you might just exchange one to another. The thing is, if you upgrade this very necklace on a critical rate to a max level, don't worry, there will be a class that will definitely can take that at any given point, because this is a great item just to move around later on. Right, and then finally, when it comes to healer slash supporter slash Krona slash Meilin, the Praying Supreme preset, it's not really applicable. I have not got any latest info that it has been fixed, but apparently it's been bugged for a while. But to be honest, it's not really recommended. You still want to go for alternative, which is a Wind of Blessing set. And obviously similar to tier 4, we increase in here active skill level, rather than 2 it's now 3, and we also increase in attack speed. And as I mentioned in the previous video, the higher attack speed you've got, obviously the quicker you're gonna start generating your attacks, and therefore go with this ultimate skill. And therefore I mentioned Krona and Meilin, as obviously having this additional speed attack will just trigger even more and more skills. So this is, in my opinion, this is a set you want to go Meilin, probably on a verge of Wind of Blessing or a Shooting Star, as depending obviously what you landing on the highest tiers of this T5. But obviously when it comes to healer characters, support characters, you want to increase active levels, obviously when it comes to buffs or heals itself, and obviously cast them as often as possible. Therefore this additional attack speed and the must have set. And when it comes to items itself, again, you want to probably prioritize necklace here with a MP recovery. Again, obviously the quicker MP, the more skills you're gonna hit, and then you can then see for yourself. If you need more survivability, then you'll go with additional HP, and then you will boost a attack by increasing a HUD levels as well. The attack will obviously increase your damage deal as well as effectiveness of the skills, so you want to go for these items. But definitely if you land this mana recovery, you should definitely prioritize that. If you cannot land this mana recovery, then go for a damage reduction. Again, obviously the longer your support will live, the higher obviously output of a battle you're gonna have. So that will be it. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.